Do not rely solely on grades, right? Grades are so subjective, and your child can get an A in a class because they bought a box of tissue, or they can get an A because they have met the standard that they're supposed to be learning. So to be able to be equipped with questions. And so one of the things that you want to be prepared to ask the teacher is how your child is performing against the standard that they're being taught. So not just, and if your child is already in a system or entering a system that already does standards-based assessments or grading, you're in a great situation, certainly a step closer. But really being able to understand the Common Core, which is how all the curriculum should be aligned now, and being able to ask that question to say, well, if this is the standard they're supposed to learn, where are they against that standard? Also asking the teacher how your child is performing in comparison to the other children in the classroom. So where are they on that bell curve? And are there any concerns that you have for them that's perhaps unique to the other students in the classroom? I want to talk a little bit about gifted programming because we know that there's really a underrepresentation of children of color in gifted programming. One of the ways that we've been able to combat that in our school district is that we don't solely rely on standardized tests to decide if students should be placed in gifted programming or not. And so you may or may not be in a position to inform that decision for your school district, but you can certainly suggest it. That if you have a child, if your child is one who has performed well and who's consistently meeting or exceeding the standard that they're supposed to learn, but that it's not necessarily reflected in their assessment, maybe there's some other ways to get to gifted programming. So what we've done is sort of taken anecdotal feedback from the teachers. We've looked at their grades across the school years. We do consider their testing performance, but as one factor out of many that we look at. And so as educators, you have the opportunity to sort of look at how you are deciding what students go into what programming, and as parents, you can suggest it, but I would say become familiar with, in some way, the standards that your child is supposed to learn for the school year based on their age, and ask questions about that of the teacher, and how those different things will be introduced throughout the school year, and what you can do at home to supplement it as well.
The curriculum that we're using right now in my network of schools is based on research around background knowledge. And so it was written by a man named Dr. Hirsch, and he's a professor at the University of Virginia. And he did a study where he gave a topic like baseball to his students at the University of Virginia, and then he also taught at a community college. And their writing abilities were actually the same. But then when he changed the topic to be something that the students at the university level had only been exposed to, then suddenly they did a lot better. And so what he found was it was really around this idea of background knowledge and knowing about a topic and students' ability to achieve. So as a parent, I think something that you can do that would be wonderful for your kids is really just building up that background knowledge. So taking them to the aquarium, taking them to the Garfield Park Conservatory, which is free. Doing these types of things is really going to help your child succeed and be ready for college and beyond.